How to stop feeling inferior. 5 steps to feeling better about yourself. So there is a difference between knowing that you don't match up to somebody else and feeling very strongly about it. Let me give you an example. I might know and think that I'm not as wealthy or as intelligent as Bill Gates, but I don't have any strong feeling about it, so I don't really care. However, if I was going for a job promotion and I had really been working hard to get myself to that place where I would be promoted, I'd done my presentation, and then I went on LinkedIn or social media and I found out one of my colleagues had been given the promotion, I may feel like I didn't quite make the mark, like I didn't quite match up to what was expected. So you see, there's a difference. I have to have a strong emotion attached to something and be comparing myself to some other ideal or person in order to feel inferior, if that makes sense. Sometimes this can be an ideal of, say, different phases of our life, that at 30 maybe you're having kids and at 40 you've bought a house, or so on and so forth. And then if people don't reach those milestones, if you like, that they then feel that they haven't matched up. So what can we do? Well, step 1 would be to be very specific on exactly who and what you're feeling inferior about. If I was to compare myself non-stop to Nobel Peace Prize winners, then of course I'm not going to feel great all the time. So you need to be specific on, are you being unfair and unjust to yourself in who you're comparing yourself to, and what is it exactly that you would like to improve on or feel that you don't match up to. So we have specifics to deal with. We can start to find out where we need to do the work. Step 2, get realistic. If you really think about it, we're all inferior to someone in some way or another. I mean, the issue nowadays is because we are so exposed to everybody else's life, then we get a very big insight into the status, note the word status, update of everybody else. And so it's easier to fall into that comparison trap and feel maybe we're not matching up to what we think we would like to match up to. So get realistic as to really, what is it that you want to match up to? And are you spending too much time focused on the few people that actually may be doing better than you in that particular area? And actually, realistically, there are plenty of people who might be wealthier, plenty of people that might be prettier, plenty of people that might be more intelligent, but that doesn't mean that you are any less valuable because of that. Because of the amount of images we are exposed to every day, then this is a lot more challenging to do these days, whereas years ago, if we lived in a village, there were very few people to compare ourselves to. So we weren't spoon-fed the glossy edited highlights of other people's lives, all the time being told to buy things and to invest in ourselves more because we're worth it, but at the same time that actually it's the inside that counts. So take a very realistic view on where you're putting your focus and where you're spending your time. Step 3, be more you. Now, an inferiority complex thrives on you needing to compare yourself to someone else in order to feel like you're not matching up. So the fact is, though, is that there will never be another you, and while that's easy to say, in the high emotion of comparing ourselves to other people, it's easy to lose sight of our own assets, strengths and resources. So it is a very good idea to write down a list of them. And I remember doing this in a workshop once where I wrote down a whole list on a PowerPoint presentation of skills and resources that people could choose from. And they could be anything like strength, courage, reliability, loyalty, friendship, discipline, focus, any of those words, and words that actually mean something to you, and write them down to give you a bit more perspective on the resources and strengths you do have, rather than falling into the trap of thinking what you don't. Step 4, be your own coach and bestie. The fact is when you're caught in high emotion, it's going to lead to black and white thinking, because that's what a strong emotion will do. It will override our ability to have a perspective on something. And so speaking to yourself like your own best friend, I know is something you've no doubt heard before. However, if you use your name, this will help get you outside and see the situation from more of a perspective, like you're speaking to another person. Like, come on, Lee, I know that we can do this. Just let's calm the feelings down and think about this more clearly. Because as soon as the feelings are calm, that will give you more of a perspective on what you're actually thinking. Step 5, deal with that inner critic. Now, we all have that little voice, right, that pipes up, but this will pipe up usually when there's a strong emotion attached to something. And it's a really good idea to ask yourself, is this voice mine? Is it the school bully that told me I wasn't good enough? Was it my parents telling me I had to be a perfectionist in order to be valued or worthy enough? Whose voice is it? Is this really yours? And if so, what are you trying to achieve by being critical of yourself like that? Is that leading you to feel empowered? I'd say not. It's one thing giving ourselves a talking to in order to bring ourselves forward, but not if it's going to cut ourselves down. So literally naming that voice, calling it out, and getting to know if it's really yours or something that society has conditioned you to think or believe. So think about what is really going to work for you in order of the context of your life, in order to help you feel more empowered and feel more successful on your terms. I hope that's been of help. Please comment, let me know what you think, and I'll be back soon with more tips.